Let's be honest, if knowing how to live was enough, why are so many of us still overwhelmed, anxious, and lost? We're drowning in information, but starving for wisdom. There are thousands of videos on YouTube about philosophy. But let me ask you this: how many of them have actually changed your life? Because knowing isn't the same as applying, and inspiration without action fades fast. That's why this isn't just another video filled with quotes. And in this video, we go beyond concepts. We'll break down core principles from Stoicism, Taoism, Existentialism, minimalism, emotional filtering, and more importantly, show you how to apply them to shift how you think, to upgrade how you feel, to transform how you live. Because when philosophy moves from theory to practice, you don't just feel better, you become unstoppable, with the hope that it may provide clarity and comfort amid the noise and pace of contemporary life. Let us know if you need guided audio sessions or a workbook to support your growth further. It is offered as a companion to empower your journey toward greater freedom, wisdom, and authenticity. Focus deeply and respond to life with calm strength. Today, you're going to learn how to install a mental operating system, one that helps you manage stress. Right now, most of us are running on a broken script. You wake up tired, go to bed wired, and somewhere in between, you wonder, is this all life is meant to be? You're told to push through, be productive, stay positive, hustle harder. But deep down, something feels ... off. It's like your brain has a dozen tabs, open each one, refreshing, nonstop. You try to meditate, journal, unplug, but nothing sticks. You've read the books, downloaded the apps. Still, the stress, burnout, and emotional chaos don't go away. Here's something probably no one ever told you. It's not that your mind is broken. It's just running on an outdated operating system. From the moment we're born, we're handed a script. Be polite, be agreeable. Don't ask too many questions. Stay small. Don't make noise. Don't be too emotional. We're taught to fit in, not to feel. To perform, not to connect. To chase success, but never question what it really means. And we follow that script so well. We forget we're even performing. Until one day, we pause, and something whispers, whose life am I actually living? This video is a response to that question. Because what if there is more? What if your stress, your burnout, your exhaustion weren't personal failures, but symptoms of a system that's no longer compatible with the world we live in? It's like expecting a phone from 2008 to run today's apps. It overheats, it crashes. You blame the device, when really it just needs a system update. That's what this video is. A mental update using the most powerful time-tested frameworks ever created. Ancient philosophies aren't just old ideas in dusty books. They're mental apps designed to help humans navigate chaos, uncertainty, and emotional storms. Imagine if philosophy wasn't a theory, but a toolbox, a dashboard for your mind, with features like emotional filtering, inner stability, focused action, purpose-driven calm. Today, we're not just talking about big thinkers. We're talking about mental upgrades backed by both ancient wisdom and modern psychology that you can actually install and apply in your daily life. This isn't about escaping your problems. It's about rebooting the way you face them. In this video, we're not just going to talk about ideas. We're going to give you tools, philosophical mindware you can install right now to upgrade how you think, feel, decide, and live. Because once you stop outsourcing your peace to the world around you, you unlock something powerful, a sense of calm that isn't temporary, a kind of strength that isn't loud, but unshakable. That's what it means to be unstoppable. And that's where we're headed. It's time to stop performing someone else's script and start living your own. This isn't about abstraction. It's about application. Imagine the lives of legendary figures who walked this path before you, individuals who embodied profound philosophies not as abstract ideas, but as living practices that transform their inner worlds and the world around them. Take Bruce Lee, for instance. Beyond his martial arts mastery, Lee was a philosopher of life. When faced with adversity, he didn't resist. He flowed like water, adapting, yielding, and yet unstoppable. His famous advice, "Be like water," captures the heart of Taoism. Letting go, moving with life's currents rather than against them. Consider Nelson Mandela, a beacon of stoic resilience, thrown into imprisonment for 27 years, subjected to isolation and hardship. He chose to focus on the one thing he could control: his attitude. Mandela's calm endurance and unwavering commitment to justice mirror the Stoic ideal of emotional regulation and acceptance in the face of uncontrollable circumstances. His life teaches us how inner control can shape not just ourselves, but history itself. Then there's Malala Yousafzai, a powerful example of existentialism exists in our terms. Faced with oppression and a direct threat to her life for advocating for girls' education, Malala didn't accept a predetermined fate. Instead, she courageously chose to define her own existence, her own meaning, and her own purpose. Her act of speaking out, her unwavering commitment to her cause, even after being shot, embodies the existentialist idea that we are condemned to be free, meaning we are responsible for creating our own essence through our choices and actions, rather than having it dictated to us. Malala's story reminds us that even in the face of immense external pressures, the radical freedom to define oneself and forge meaning is profoundly empowering. In today's world, Marie Kondo has become a modern minimalist icon. Her revolutionary KonMari method, isn't about tidying for tidiness' sake, but about reclaiming mental clarity through physical simplicity. By helping millions let go of unnecessary clutter, Kondo exemplifies how minimalism is a vital tool for conserving attention and fostering calm in an age of constant distraction. Finally, look to Oprah Winfrey, a living example of emotional filtering and resilience, rising from hardship to become a global influencer. Oprah's journey is marked by gratitude, positive reframing, and emotional mastery. She transforms pain into power, illustrating how we can build emotional resilience to thrive despite life's setbacks. These figures are not distant icons, but mirrors reflecting what's possible when philosophy moves from theory to practice. Their lives form a constellation of wisdom, guiding us to upgrade our mental operating system. Throughout this journey, you'll explore these philosophies as powerful apps for your mental O's, learning how to integrate them into your life. Together, they provide a roadmap for rebooting your mind to achieve the clarity, peace, and resilience that define the unstoppable self. No matter what chaos surrounds you, this path can power you to thrive. This isn't about empty positivity or quick fixes. It's a survival manual for the digital age, rooted in wisdom that has helped humanity endure for centuries. By the end of this experience, you'll have practical tools to install and use these mental apps in your daily life, transforming abstract wisdom into habits that foster calm, clarity, and resilience. Together, we will explore the roadmap to install the most powerful, time-tested apps for your mind apps that help you survive and flourish in the digital age that will make you unstoppable. Stoicism over 2 millennia ago. In the vibrant, bustling city of Athens, a new philosophical path began to take shape. Stoicism was founded by Zeno of Citium around 300 BCE and later refined by Roman thinkers such as Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca. Unlike abstract speculation, Stoicism was designed as a practical guide for daily life, a mental framework to help people cultivate virtue, wisdom, and resilience amid the unpredictable tides of fortune. This ancient philosophy has stood the test of time precisely because it addresses a universal human challenge: how to live well amidst circumstances beyond our control. Stoicism isn't just an ancient philosophy, dusty with age or confined to philosophical textbooks. It is a practical guide forged thousands of years ago in the bustling marketplaces of Athens and perfected through the struggles and reflections of towering minds like Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca during the Roman Empire. Their wisdom remains profoundly relevant today because it speaks directly to a universal human challenge that transcends time and status. How to navigate a world brimming with uncertainty, relentless pressure, and inevitable disappointment. Whether you are a parent balancing the chaos of a busy household, an employee grappling with job insecurity, or someone managing everyday stress from financial worries and social obligations, the external world can often feel overwhelming. Meanwhile, CEOs steering multinational corporations face pressures of a different magnitude: the weight of million-dollar decisions, the threat of mergers and acquisitions reshaping their businesses overnight, or the delicate task of leading diverse teams through turbulent markets. High-net-worth individuals confront their own unique challenges: maintaining legacy, managing complex wealth dynamics, and balancing personal fulfillment amid public scrutiny. Despite the differences in scale, the emotional landscape is strikingly similar. Anxiety over what might go wrong, frustration when plans unravel, and the fear of losing control loom large for all. This is where Stoicism offers its timeless guidance. Imagine waking up to a sudden crisis. Your project at work just got delayed unexpectedly, or a major merger threatens to change your company's entire structure. Instinctively, you might feel panic or anger, but a Stoic pauses to ask, is this situation within my control? Recognizing that you cannot instantly fix external circumstances, you shift your focus inward, asking, what can I control right now? Perhaps it's your response, your mindset, or your next strategic step. By redirecting energy toward what is actionable, you transform anxiety into calm determination. Or consider a working parent wrestling with the stress of juggling Zoom meetings, kids' schooling, and household chores, feeling pulled in every direction. Rather than giving in to overwhelm, the Stoic mindset encourages a pause to reflect. What am I attaching my happiness to? Is it possible to find peace in my choices and values amidst the chaos? This internal focus fosters resilience, turning storms of distraction into moments of centered presence. For a CEO facing public backlash after a controversial decision, or an investor coping with market volatility, the question becomes, what virtues can I practice now? Justice, courage, wisdom. How can I face this challenge bravely and with integrity? This approach grounds leadership in values rather than reactive emotions. Stoicism, with its emphasis on distinguishing what is within our power and mastering our responses, provides a mental operating system, stoikos, that offers stability whether you rehandling everyday hassles or extraordinary challenges. Stoicism, as true power, lies not just in knowing what to think, but in training yourself to ask the right questions, the mental prompts that steer your mind away from turmoil toward clarity, resilience, and purposeful action. Over centuries, Stoic practitioners have developed a suite of such questions designed to cultivate a mindset anchored in what truly matters. Begin by asking, what is truly within my control? This simple but profound question cuts through the noise of worry. For example, if you're overwhelmed by an unexpected layoff or a difficult conversation with a loved one, you might feel powerless. But focusing instead on your thoughts, decisions, and attitude, things you can control, shifts your energy from helplessness to empowerment. Next, reflect on, what am I attaching my happiness to? Imagine a successful entrepreneur who ties identity and joy solely to their business's valuation. When markets fluctuate, despair follows. Stoicism encourages building happiness on internal values, virtue, purpose, and character, providing emotional stability regardless of external ups and downs. Ask yourself, how would a sage respond to this situation? This invites you to step outside emotional reactivity and envision a calm, wise person responding with equanimity. Say you face criticism at work or within family dynamics. Channel this wisdom to respond with patience rather than defensiveness. What is my role in this situation? Shift focus toward responsibility and contribution instead of blame. For instance, a manager navigating a team conflict can ask how to act justly and fairly rather than assigning fault. To deepen your practice, consider, what virtues can I practice right now? Daily life offers countless opportunities to embody courage, justice, temperance, and wisdom, from speaking honestly to controlling impulses. Stoics also recommend the powerful exercise of negative visualization. Ask, what is the worst that can happen? This isn't pessimism, but preparation and acceptance. If you fear rejection in a job interview or a business deal falling through, imagining the worst outcome helps reduce anxiety and primes you to handle challenges with grace. Examine your motivations with, am I being driven by desire or aversion? Are decisions influenced by rational goals or by emotional urges like greed or fear? Awareness here cultivates self-discipline. Reframe difficulties by asking, how can I use this challenge as an opportunity for growth? Life's difficulties become training grounds for character. A failed project or personal loss can be reframed as lessons sharpening resilience. Gratitude is a cornerstone of resilience. Pause to ask, what can I be grateful for right now? Even amidst tough times, recognizing small blessings nurtures positive emotions and mental balance. What would I do if I had no fear? This courageous inquiry uncovers hidden possibilities. When fear of failure or judgment restrains you. Imagining bold action frees you to take meaningful steps. Clarify your guiding philosophy by asking, what is my guiding principle? Defining your core mission or values offers a compass for decisions during uncertainty. Lastly, ensure authenticity by regularly questioning, am I living according to my values? This ongoing self-assessment keeps you aligned and fulfilled, minimizing regret and internal conflict. These 12 questions form the backbone of your Stoikos, your personal mental operating system update. They prepare you to face everyday frustrations, like dealing with difficult coworkers, managing family expectations, or navigating financial stress, as well as more complex pressures such as leading corporate transformations or responding to public scrutiny. Imagine a CEO grappling with a sudden market downturn. Instead of succumbing to panic, she asks herself, what is within my control? How can I act justly for my employees and customers? This mindset guides strategic, calm decision-making, restoring confidence to herself and her team. A young professional facing job uncertainty might feel overwhelmed, but reframing with, what virtues can I practice now? How can this challenge grow me? Shifts the narrative from victimhood to empowerment. Stoicism also harmonizes with modern cognitive behavioral therapy, which uses similar techniques of cognitive reframing and emotional regulation. This convergence underscores Stoicism's timeless relevance as both philosophy and practical psychology. However, Stoicism is not about suppressing emotions or becoming coldly indifferent. It acknowledges the full human experience but teaches mastery over reactions, choosing reason over impulsivity, constructive action over despair. As you begin embedding Stoikos into your daily routine, practical exercises help solidify these principles. Journaling with the 12 questions, pausing mindfully in stressful moments, and reflecting nightly on alignment with values. Over time, this disciplined mental training builds emotional resilience, clarity, and a serene confidence that equips you to thrive regardless of external upheaval. Consider some practical exercises you can start implementing today to build your Stoic mental operating system. Morning reflection. Each morning, spend 5 minutes contemplating what is within my control today, and what virtues will I practice. This sets a conscious intention to act with awareness. The pause technique. When you feel frustration rising, pause and take 3 deep breaths. Then ask, is this within my control? If not, release it gently. If yes, focus on your next step. Journaling. Every evening, write briefly about your day using prompts like, where did I respond well? What could I improve? And am I living according to my values? This reflection builds self-awareness. Negative visualization. Regularly imagine possible setbacks calmly and plan how to respond virtuously. This reduces fear and prepares you mentally. Gratitude pauses. Set reminders to stop and acknowledge what you appreciate at that moment. This shifts your mindset toward abundance. Role model reflection. When confronted with difficulty, imagine how a wise person or a leader you respect would handle it. This helps regulate emotions and choose thoughtful action. Value alignment checks. Several times a day, ask, am I acting in harmony with my core values? Use this to correct course before impulsive reactions dominate. Embrace discomfort. Purposefully face small challenges, cold showers, speaking up, fasting to build courage and temperance. Consider the story of Epictetus, born into slavery and physically crippled, yet who rose to be a profound teacher of freedom through mental mastery. His famous words, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters," encapsulate the essence of Stoicism's liberating power. Regardless of external circumstances, mastery of the mind offers true freedom. Or take a mid-level manager wrestling with office restructuring. Using the pause technique and journaling questions, she gradually transforms anxiety into purposeful action, growing stronger with each challenge. Michael, a CEO steering a complex merger, offsets high stakes with negative visualization and gratitude, leading his team with steady confidence. Through these tools, Stoicism is no longer an abstract, ancient doctrine, but a living, breathing system enabling you to reclaim your inner domain. It is the mental upgrade that optimizes performance, emotional resilience, and authentic living. Marcus Aurelius offered a final, powerful reminder. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. With Stoicos installed, that strength is yours to wield. Taoism. What if the secret to a life of ease and strength lies in grappling harder against the world, but in learning to move with its currents, softly, fluidly, like water? Over 2,000 years ago, in the heart of ancient China, a quiet revolution in thought emerged that dared to challenge our instinct to resist. Taoism. This profound philosophy invites us to uncover harmony, not by embracing its flow. At the core of Taoism lies the Tao, the ineffable way that pulses through the fabric of the universe, guiding the rhythms of nature and existence itself. Unlike rigid doctrines, the Tao is elusive and dynamic, an invisible force urging us toward balance. Central to this is Wu Wei, the art of effortless action or non-action state, where doing and being align seamlessly and resistance dissolves naturally. In a world that prizes relentless control, speed, and achievement, Taoism's gentle wisdom offers a radical alternative. Simplicity, patience, and non-attachment stand as antidotes to the anxiety and exhaustion bred by our non-stop striving for more success, more validation, more certainty. Taoism whispers a daring proposition. By letting go of stubborn ideas, material cravings, and ego's grip, we unlock mental peace, creative flow, and true freedom. Take Bruce Lee, for instance. His timeless advice to be like water, ice, and tea, just poetic flair it, distills Taoism's core lesson of yielding strength. Water does not confront rocks with force. It flows around them, adapts, and persists. Lee's mastery transcended physical combat. It was a mental state embodying Wu Wei. He grasped that unbending rigidity leads to fracture, but flexibility breeds resilience and triumph. But how do we cultivate such fluid power in the turbulence of modern life? The answer lies deeper than you might think. Or reflect on Steve Jobs, who famously embraced simplicity as a design ethos and life principle. Jobs' relentless pursuit of simplicity in technology was Taoism in modern form, removing clutter to reveal essence, trusting intuition, and letting creative ideas unfold naturally without force. He often spoke of intuition and trusting one's inner voice, a very Taoist concept of aligning with one's innate nature. At the core of Taoism is Wu Wei, which might seem paradoxical to our Western, goal-oriented minds. It is not lazy passivity or inaction, but a state of relaxed effort, where actions harmonize with the moments flown either forced nor resisted. Imagine a skilled boatman navigating a river. He doesn't fight the current, but uses its power. He steers, but he doesn't row against the flow. This enables profound ease and effectiveness. When we practice Wu Wei, we find that many struggles dissolve simply by not pushing against the current, allowing the natural unfolding of events to guide us. This is particularly powerful in situations where overthinking or overexertion only leads to greater frustration. Taoism also teaches yin and yang, the complementary opposites that exist in constant flux, such as light and dark, action and rest, strength and softness. The famous symbol, a circle divided by a curved line, shows two swirling halves, each containing a dot of the other, symbolizing that within every quality lies the seed of its opposite. Learning to balance these forces within ourselves and our lives helps us move with life's rhythms rather than against them. It teaches us that periods of rest are as vital as periods of intense activity, that being receptive is as powerful as being assertive, and that vulnerability can be a source of strength. Embracing this dynamic balance brings harmony and reduces internal conflict. Simplicity, a key Taoist principle, asks us to strip away unnecessary complexity to live more fully in the present. This isn't just about minimalist aesthetics. It's about decluttering our lives, our schedules, possessions, and mental chatter to make space for what truly matters. This is closely tied to non-attachment, letting go of clinging to possessions, rigid beliefs, and ego-driven desires. When we release these chains, we open space for clarity and genuine joy, finding freedom from the constant craving for more or the fear of loss. Non-attachment extends to outcomes, doing your best without being overly concerned about the results, allowing for a more peaceful and flexible approach to goals. Patience in Taoism is not passive waiting, but a deep trust in life's natural timing. It invites us to find contentment now, not postpone happiness to some future achievement. It recognizes that growth, change, and solutions often unfold organically, and forcing them can be counterproductive. This patience is a profound antidote to the hurried anxiety of modern life, encouraging us to savor the present and trust the process. Beyond these core ideas, Taoism also explores profound insights on the nature of knowledge and paradox, emphasizing the limits of language and conceptual thought. The Tao Te Ching famously opens by saying, "The Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao." This points to the ineffable quality of the Tao cannot be fully captured in words or ideas because it transcends them. Taoism thus encourages embracing mystery and uncertainty, a stance that fosters humility and openness rather than dogmatic certainty. This teaching invites a flexible mindset, one that is comfortable with ambiguity and flow rather than fixed answers. It aligns closely with modern psychological concepts such as cognitive flexibility and openness to experience, which are known to support well-being and adaptive functioning. By practicing this openness, we reduce mental rigidity that often leads to conflict internally and invite creative solutions and deeper understanding. The Taoist view of self also departs from rigid identity constructs. It suggests that the self is not a fixed entity, but a process in constant change, integrated with the greater whole. This perspective aligns with contemporary findings in neuroscience and psychology, which show the self as fluid and constructed moment to moment. Recognizing this can dissolve egoic attachments and foster a sense of unity with life's flow. Another profound Taoist insight concerns leadership and social harmony. The ideal leader is often described as one who governs least, who leads by example and subtle guidance rather than force or coercion. The Tao Te Ching remarks that the best leaders are those whose presence is barely felt, whose people are hardly aware they exist, yet society functions smoothly and harmoniously under their care. This principle offers a radical rethink of power and influence, advocating for humility, service, and natural authority, rather than domination. In modern life, this can inspire leadership styles that prioritize empathy, empowerment, and listening qualities that build trust and collaboration rather than fear or resistance. It also encourages individuals to influence their own lives and communities gently, but effectively, resonating with the Taoist idea that true power comes from aligning with the deeper currents, rather than battling superficial waves. Let's return to practical applications. Taoism offers accessible tools to cultivate letting go and flow. Mindfulness and meditation. These foundational practices in Taoism cultivate present moment awareness, allowing us to observe thoughts and emotions without judgment. Like clouds passing in the sky, these mental events come and go, freeing us from reactive turmoil and encouraging wise response. Meditation encourages detachment from incessant mental chatter, nurturing inner calm and spaciousness. Acceptance. Accepting reality as it is not as we wish it to be is a radical act of self-compassion and wisdom. Acceptance frees us from the mental prison of resistance and frustration. It doesn't mean resignation, but recognizing what cannot be changed so that we can focus on effective action. Acceptance fosters presence and reduces suffering caused by clinging to the past or fantasizing about different outcomes. Decluttering. Both physical and mental decluttering are vital Taoist practices. Cleaning out possessions, commitments, or mental distractions creates space for clarity and reduces anxiety. The environment often mirrors the mind's state. Simplifying our surroundings can soothe and ground us, inviting peace and creative flow. Letting go of control. Perhaps the most challenging Taoist practice is surrendering the illusion of total control. It is about trusting the process of life, cultivating gratitude, engaging in flow states where time and ego dissolve, and setting boundaries that protect our peace. Letting go does not imply passivity, but invites agile and graceful responsiveness. Consider Sarah, a busy working parent, overwhelmed by competing demands. Feeling trapped in control and striving, she begins practicing Taoism small steps, breathing mindfully daily, allowing minor problems to self-resolve, decluttering her home and digital life, and trusting in natural growth and learning processes. She discovers this gentle surrender lightens her mental load and deepens her connections. Embodying Taoist harmony. David, a high-powered executive, learns to shift from micromanagement to delegation and patience, aligning leadership with Taoist flow. He experiences reduced stress, increased team creativity, and authentic engagement, illustrating Taoism's modern corporate relevance. The benefits of Tao syncleting, go and flowing, are profound. Profound mental peace emerges as stress melts away. Relationships deepen through compassion. Creativity flourishes as fear of failure dissolves, and personal freedom blooms as the grip on control loosens. To begin integrating Taoism into daily life, try these practical exercises: water, meditation, and body scan. Visualize a flowing river moving effortlessly around rocks. Scan your body with breath, releasing tension like water flowing away. Simplify your space. Weekly declutter a drawer, digital desktop, or schedule removing what no longer serves. Patience in action. When delayed or frustrated, breathe and silently affirm. Life unfolds in its own time, releasing urgency. Non-attachment, reflection. Symbolically, open your hand, releasing one attachment. Reflect on how loosening grip transforms your experience. Engage in flow activities. Identify hobbies where you lose time and pursue them regularly to embody Wu Wei. Go with the flow challenge. Adapt to changes with curiosity, exploring new possibilities without resistance. Mindful eating, drinking, savor flavors and sensations, fully grounding in presence. Yin-yang, balance check. Reflect daily on your balance of activity and rest, making adjustments for harmony. Laozi reminded us, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Taoism invites patient persistence and gentle surrender. Living simply and authentically in tune with existence's subtle rhythms. Modern examples like Steve Jobs with his ruthless simplicity and intuitive innovation, and Bruce Lee with his fluid be water philosophy, show Taoism alive today, not as abstraction, but vibrant, practical wisdom. By embracing Taoism's teachings, you cultivate a mental environment where peace, creativity, and freedom flow naturally. Let go of feudal control and immerse yourself in the effortless power of Wu Wei. To close, heed Laozi's enduring words. By letting go, it all gets done. The world is won by those who let it go. But when you try and try, the world is beyond winning. Existentialism. Picture yourself at a crossroads where all the familiar maps of certainty vanish, leaving you facing an immense, open terrain filled with possibility and a profound sense of responsibility. This is the realm of existentialism, a philosophy that plunges us into the deep waters of freedom, meaning, and self-creation. It challenges us to become the architects of our own lives, even in the absence of any blueprint. Born amid the upheaval of the 19th and 20th centuries, existentialism was shaped by remarkable thinkers whose ideas continue to resonate. Friedrich Nietzsche, Stahl, Sartre, and Albert Camus. Their insights formed the foundation of what we call Exists, the authenticity engine within your mental operating system. This powerful upgrade fuels a life that is unstoppable, grounded in radical freedom and deliberate self-definition. At the core of existence lies a striking truth. Existence precedes essence. Unlike objects designed with a fixed purpose, humans find themselves simply existing, first thrown into the world without any predetermined meaning. From this blank slate, meaning is something we must craft through our decisions and actions. This freedom is both thrilling and daunting, weighed down by the heavy responsibility that comes with it. There are no guides, no guarantees, just you and the choices you make. Friedrich Nietzsche was a voice that shook the very foundations of thought when he called out, "Become who you are." He saw so many drifting through life, following the crowd, trapped in comfortable norms. But Nietzsche called for something braver, the courage to walk your own path. He introduced the Bermensch, the overman, a figure who constantly rises above life's hardships by creating and recreating his own values. For Nietzsche, strength was not about avoiding pain, but about facing it squarely and turning suffering into growth. Nietzsche's philosophy extends beyond mere individualism. He revealed the ways culture and morality often impose herd values that stifle true expression. He challenged people to reject externally imposed roles and beliefs, urging instead to forge a personal morality. This radical self-creation entails confronting the void left by the collapse of traditional meaning and embracing life with a creative yes, even in the face of chaos and suffering. Building on this, Jean-Paul Sartre declared that humans are condemned to be free. Imagine being tossed into a world without a script, without a fixed roll-a-blank page that only you can fill. This freedom is both a gift and a burden. With it comes the anguish of endless choice and the responsibility that you can never escape. Sartre said that authenticity means owning this freedom fully. No hiding behind excuses or social masks. It means choosing deliberately, moment by moment, to live as your true self. He argued that when we deny our freedom, more try to escape it through bad faith, self-deception, or blaming others, we lose our authentic potential. Bad faith is the act of denying our freedom and responsibility, pretending that our roles or circumstances define us rigidly. Existence teaches that liberation comes from rejecting bad faith, engaging fully with the present and acting with intention despite uncertainty. Albert Camus brought a poetic voice to this philosophy, speaking of the absurd, the tension between our deep hunger for meaning and the silent, indifferent universe. His response wasn't despair, but defiant acceptance. Camus said, "We must embrace life's absurdity passionately, creating our own meaning despite the cosmic silence." He told the tale of Sisyphus, condemned to push a boulder uphill forever, only to watch it roll back down again. Yet, Camus imagined Sisyphus happy, finding joy and purpose in the struggle itself. Clenis, absurd hero, embodies the human tension between desire for coherence and the randomness of existence. Rather than retreating into nihilism or despair, he advocates revolt, a constant, joyful rebellion against meaninglessness that affirms life. This perspective invites resilience through the conscious choice to find or create values, purpose, and joy, not in spite of, but alongside life's inherent unpredictability. So, how does Existentialism change your inner world? First, it frees you from the chains of outside expectations. You stop being a passenger and become the pilot of your life. This freedom isn't chaos, it's the power to create your identity on your own terms. Second, it invites you to see meaning as a living project, something you build every day through the values you choose and the actions you take. Third, it gives you the courage to face life's uncertainties and contradictions with creativity and resilience. Picture a young artist pressured to conform to commercial tastes. Existentialism gives her the strength to say no, to risk failure in order to express her true voice. Or a CEO questioning the meaning behind the corporate goals, realizing that authentic leadership means aligning business with deeply held values, turning work into a mission. Existentialism's gifts are profound: personal freedom, meaningful living, integrity, and resilience in the face of life's challenges. But existentialism also embraces the shadow side of freedom, the anxiety, loneliness, and absurdity that come with realizing we alone create meaning. Existentialism does not deny these feelings, but teaches us to sit with them, transforming despair into depth. Existential courage isn't about eliminating fear, but moving forward despite it. This philosophy also encourages embracing paradox. Life is finite, yet boundless in meaning. We are free, yet limited by facticity. We seek connection, yet wrestle with solitude. Existentialism acknowledges these tensions as the essence of the human condition, inviting us to live fully within them. So how do you install this powerful app in your own mental system? Here are practical ways to embody existentialism's core principles. Journaling on core values and authentic moments. Reflect regularly on times when you felt most true to yourself. Write about the values expressed and how you can bring more of these moments into daily life. Notice and challenge external expectations. Identify where you feel trapped by societal or familial pressures. Choose, even in small ways, to act differently. This builds freedom muscle. Sit with uncertainty. Practice tolerating ambiguous feelings or unanswered questions without rushing to closure. Let doubt be a space for growth, not paralysis. Engage in open dialogues. Discuss ideas about freedom, responsibility, and meaning with trusted others. Take bold, honest actions. Step outside comfort zones to align behavior with authentic self, even if it feels risky or uncomfortable. Reframe anxiety as vital energy. Recognize anxiety as a signal of freedom and possibility, not just threat. Express creatively. Channel your inner world through art, writing, music, or any form of expression. Creativity is a powerful tool of self-creation and catharsis. Morning affirmation. Each day, remind yourself, today, I choose to live authentically. Remember the lives of Nietzsche, Sartre, and Camus philosophers who didn't just speak these truths, but lived them with courage. They show us that even amid chaos and hardship, we can build a life of meaning and freedom. Sartre's words ring clear. Freedom is what you do with what's been done to you. Your past does not imprison you unless you let it. Exists invites you to transform limits into strength. And Nietzsche's timeless call remains your challenge and your gift. Become who you are. The path is yours, filled with freedom, possibility, and the chance to live unstoppably. Minimalism and attention conservation. Minimalism is the intentional promotion of the things we most value and the removal of everything that distracts us from it. This idea is more than just a popular trend or a pursuit of tidy living spaces. It is a radical invitation to reorient our lives around clarity, focus, and freedom. What if the key to a richer, freer life wasn't about acquiring more, but about choosing less clutter, less distraction, less noise to make way for what truly matters? This idea transcends fleeting trends or neat homes. It's a profound invitation to reshape life around clarity, focus, and liberation. Imagine waking each day in a space filled only with what genuinely adds value, where your mind isn't clouded by chaos, and your attention isn't pulled every which way by distractions. In an age overwhelmed by endless stimuli, packed schedules, and information overload, this ancient wisdom calls us back to simplicity as a path toward true presence and lasting contentment. The human longing for simplicity is ancient, woven into the fabric of civilizations and cultures across time. Great thinkers and traditions have celebrated how living with less often means gaining more in spirit, in peace, and in meaning. Take ancient Greece. There, the idea of eukalia described a life of ease and harmonious order, not just in the material realm, but in the mind and soul. Socrates, who walked barefoot through Athens, didn't settle for questioning the world's surface. Instead, he challenged us to examine what we genuinely value. His famous words, "The unexamined life is not worth living," push us beyond mere accumulation, inviting us instead to reflect deeply on the quality of our attention what we choose to cherish, nurture, and bring into focus. Then there was Diogenes, the radical cynic philosopher whose lifestyle was a living rebuke of societal excess. Legend has it, he lived in a large ceramic jar, possessing only a cloak and a cup, mocking luxury and status. For Diogenes, freedom was not found in owning more, but in rejecting what was unnecessary. This bold asceticism amplified an essential minimalist insight. Liberation from external attachments is foundational to inner freedom. Epicurus, often misrepresented as a hedonist, instead taught that true pleasure arises from limiting desires and cherishing simple joys, such as friendship, tranquility, and moderation. He cautioned against the endless chase of wealth and fame, recognizing these as distractions from mental peace. His philosophy reminds us that abundance is not about accumulation, but about conscious appreciation of what suffices. Centuries later, Henry David Thoreau carried this legacy into the American wilderness. Retreating to his cabin by Walden Pond, he sought to live deliberately, to strip life to its essentials and rediscover meaningfulness hidden beneath noise and busyness. Thoreau famously wrote, "Our life is frittered away by detail, ... Simplify, simplify, urging us to clear distractions to truly inhabit our days." Farther east, ancient traditions echoed this call. Buddhism advocates non-attachment, the art of releasing craving to ease suffering and cultivate presence. Taoism teaches Wu Wei, effortless action in harmony with nature's rhythms, which includes trimming, excess, and simplification. These philosophies, though culturally distinct, converge on simplicity as a path to mental peace. Yet, for many of us, the layers of clutter are overwhelming. This clutter is not merely physical, it is cognitive, emotional, and digital. Neuroscience reveals that clutter floods the brain with stimuli, raising stress hormones like cortisol and scattering attention. Imagine your mind as a glass of water. Clutter is like shaking it vigorously, turning it cloudy and unsettled. More subtle still is the trap of hedonic adaptation. We chase the thrill of new possessions or experiences, but that joy fades quickly, nudging us to seek more, faster. This treadmill spins ever faster, yet happiness remains tantalizingly out of reach. Minimalism invites stepping off this exhausting treadmill. It is about reclaiming mental and emotional space, clearing fog so your deepest values shine through. Minimalism gives a clearer mind, sharper focus, and freedom from consumerism's endless demands. It allows the richness of experiences, deep connection, creativity, presence to flourish. Starting this journey need not be daunting. It begins with self-reflection. What truly adds meaning and joy to your life. Journaling can illuminate moments when you felt peaceful or fulfilled. What surrounded you then? What were you doing? These insights guide intentional choices. Small, mindful steps create momentum. Clear one drawer. Unsubscribe from distracting emails. Set tech-free periods. Notice how physical decluttering ripples into mental calm. Shift spending toward experiences that build memories and connection, travel, art, learning, and relationships. These currencies yield lasting happiness far beyond any object's fleeting allure. Practice mindful consumption. Before buying, ask, does this align with my values and well-being? Or is it a temporary fix? This pause disrupts craving cycles and fosters conscious living. Stories illustrate transformation. Anna, overwhelmed by clutter in her apartment, started by clearing a single drawer each day. As her space opened, so did her mind. She rediscovered joy in simple rituals: morning tea, reading, walks phone-free. Her life calmed and creativity bloomed. Mark, a tech entrepreneur fixated on the latest gadgets, challenged himself to a month of no new purchases. He reconnected with nature, reflection, and unbought creativity. His focus sharpened, his work flourished. Science confirms what sages long taught. Decluttering reduces stress, boosts cognitive function, and digital minimalism recovers attention from ceaseless distraction. These practices nurture mental health and productivity, vital benefits in an overstimulated era. Minimalism is more than tidying or consumption choices. It's a mental operating system, a data radical shift in how you navigate life. By promoting what you value most and releasing what distracts, you gain a clearer, calmer mind, deepened focus and creativity, freedom from the exhausting pressure to consume a richer, more intentional life aligned with your true values. The urgency of this ancient wisdom intensifies as modern life accelerates. It calls us to slow down, clear space, and live deliberately, letting what matters most shine through. To deepen your understanding, consider these expanded insights on minimalism and attention from philosophy, psychology, and neuroscience. The philosophy of enough minimalism aligns with the timeless question, what is enough? In Socratic terms, the examined life asks not what more can I get, but what is sufficient. This resonates with Aristotle's concept of eudaimonial flourishing through virtue and balance rather than excess. Modern materialism often seduces us into endless acquisition, conflating happiness with more. Minimalism challenges this myth by exposing the paradox of choice. Too many options can lead to paralysis and dissatisfaction. By choosing less but better, we reclaim quality over quantity. Attention as currency. Attention is one of the rarest commodities in the digital age. Philosopher William James famously described attention as the taking possession by the mind of one out of what seems several simultaneously possible objects or trains of thought. The quality of attention determines the quality of experience. Contemporary neuroscience shows attention to be a limited resource, easily fragmented. Multitasking, notifications, and endless streams of information pull attention away from sustained focus, eroding cognitive performance and well-being. Minimalism, especially digital minimalism, is a method of attention conservation. It's training the mind to say no to distractions and yes to deep, meaningful engagement. This conserves mental energy and fosters insight. Digital minimalism and dopamine management. The dopamine-driven design of social media and apps exploits our reward system, creating compulsive behaviors. This leads to surface-level engagement and emotional exhaustion. Digital minimalism is a conscious strategy to reduce these addictive loops by reclaiming control over technology use, setting boundaries, limiting screen time, and prioritizing face-to-face interactions. Recalibrate the mind's dopamine system, fostering sustained focus and joy. Hedonic adaptation and contentment. Hedonic adaptation explains why pleasures and possessions lose their novelty and diminish in satisfaction over time. Understanding this informs minimalist choices, investing in experiences and relationships rather than transient goods. Gratitude practices amplify satisfaction by shifting focus from scarcity to abundance, counteracting hedonic recalibration. This links minimalism with emotional filtering techniques that promote resilience and well-being. Practical minimalism and attention conservation practices, mindful decluttering. Focus on one small area at a time: drawers, closets, digital folders. Keep only what serves purpose or joy and release the rest. Notice the mental clarity accompanying physical space. Digital diet. Audit your digital consumption. Unsubscribe, mute, or delete non-essential notifications and subscriptions. Designate tech-free zones or times to cultivate presence. Experience investing. Prioritize spending on experiences, learning, connection over objects. Reflect on how these deepen meaning. Single tasking and deep work. Practice focusing on one task at a time, resisting distraction. Use timers or mindfulness to sustain attention. Notice how this improves productivity and satisfaction. Gratitude journaling. Regularly record things you appreciate, reinforcing contentment and countering cravings for more. Essentialism in commitments. Learn to say no to non-essential obligations. Protect your time to conserve mental energy for projects and relationships aligned with your values. Breath and body awareness. Use simple breath exercises to anchor attention during overwhelm, calming scattered thoughts. Stories abound of individuals transformed by minimalism's radical clarity and peace. A teacher who simplified her schedule and environment found her creativity and patience blossoming. A family embracing digital minimalism reported deeper connection and less stress. An artist shedding possessions discovered new freedom to focus on craft and meaning. Minimalism and attention conservation are not fleeting fads. They are enduring paths to mental freedom and intentional living. Update your mental operating system today by consciously embracing less, focusing more, and living with clarity and purpose. Emotional filtering and resilience. What if the way you see the world changes everything about how you experience it? Imagine walking through life wearing glasses that tint everything, gray clouding your vision with heaviness, making challenges feel overwhelming and amplifying the weight of your burdens. Now, imagine switching to another pair clear, brighter lenses that reveal strength in struggle, possibility in setbacks, and calm amidst chaos. This profound shift in perspective lies at the heart of emotional filtering, the conscious choice of how we interpret our experiences, emotions, and challenges. Life will inevitably present obstacles, pain, and unforeseen difficulties. Yet, woven within this reality is a powerful truth. We cannot always control what happens to us, but we do have control over how we respond. The human mind acts like an extraordinary filter, coloring reality through our thoughts, beliefs, and emotional habits. When we consciously refine this filter, we cultivate resilience, the deep inner strength to bounce back, grow, and thrive, even after hardship. Central to this process is cognitive reframing, a deceptively simple yet transformative tool. It invites us to recognize negative or unhelpful thoughts and gently replace them with alternative perspectives that open space for hope, learning, or acceptance. Take the story of a woman who lost her job. Initially, her outlook was clouded by feelings of failure, rejection, and fear, a thick fog of despair. But gradually, with practice, she taught herself to see the setback differently, not as a personal flaw, but as a doorway to new possibilities, chance to explore untapped paths, acquire new skills, and realign her career with what truly ignited her passion. This mental shift didn't erase the pain, but it restored her sense of agency and hope. What if you could learn to wear those clearer lenses every day? Cognitive behavioral therapy, one of the most researched psychological treatments, is built upon this principle. It teaches that our feelings are deeply connected to our thoughts, not merely external events. By recognizing distorted patterns like catastrophizing, all or nothing thinking, or overgeneralization, we learn to challenge and adjust our internal narratives. Practicing reframing requires both awareness and patience. When negative emotions surge, pause and ask, what story am I telling myself? Is it accurate or overly harsh? Often, alternative narratives are more balanced, realistic, and empowering. If cognitive reframing shifts thoughts, then gratitude shifts emotions. Gratitude is a practice of actively acknowledging and appreciating the good in life, even amid difficulty. Consider a man battling chronic illness, who kept a gratitude journal listing small blessings, sunny mornings, kind friends, a favorite song. Over time, these moments accumulated to serve as emotional ballast, holding him steady through despair. Gratitude grounds us in the present, shifting our focus from scarcity to abundance. Positive psychology champions gratitude as a cornerstone of flourishing. Studies show regular gratitude practice improves mood, sleep quality, relationships, and even physical health by rewiring brain areas linked to reward and empathy. Importantly, gratitude does not mask pain or deny struggle. It coexists with difficulty and offers resilience, a lifeline. Resilience is the capacity not just to survive hardship, but to emerge stronger. Ancient Stoics understood this well, regarding life's trials as inevitable waves. What mattered was how we sailed. Marcus Aurelius, Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Obstacles are thus not merely barriers. They become catalysts for growth when met with courage and wisdom. The Stoics provide practical tools for cultivating resilience. The dichotomy of control teaches us to focus energy on what we can influence and accept what we cannot, releasing wasted worry and anxiety. Negative visualization invites imagining loss or hardship, not to instill fear, but to prepare and cherish what we have. Mindful acceptance encourages embracing reality as it unfolds, aligning efforts with facts rather than fantasies. Modern psychology echoes these ideas. Research highlights factors like optimism, cognitive flexibility, social support, and meaning-making as crucial to resilience. Techniques from CBT and positive psychology blend naturally with Stoic practices, forming a comprehensive toolkit for mental toughness. Real-life stories bring resilience alive. Malala Yousafzai, shot while advocating for girls' education, responded not with fear, but with activism, reframing trauma as a call to action and expressing gratitude for survival while focusing on what she could control. Viktor Frankl, Holocaust survivor and psychiatrist, chronicled in Man's Search for Meaning that even in Nazi camps, those who survived kept a sense of meaning, finding purpose in the smallest acts or hopes. These narratives illustrate that resilience isn't the absence of pain. It's the transformative lens we choose to apply. How can you strengthen emotional filtering and resilience in your own life? Catch and challenge negative thoughts. When difficult thoughts arise, write them down. Examine their accuracy. Ask, is this fact or interpretation? Replace distortions with balanced, realistic perspectives. Practice daily gratitude. Each evening, list 3 things you are thankful for. Simple moments, warm drink, a kind word, nurture positivity, and rewire emotional habits. Apply the dichotomy of control. List current worries, separating those you can influence from those you cannot. Direct your efforts toward the former and release the rest consciously. Use negative visualization mindfully. Spend minutes imagining potential setbacks to frighten but to clarify what you value and prepare emotionally. Engage in mindful acceptance. Sit with discomfort or uncertainty without judgment. Notice emotions as passing waves, not permanent states. Build social support. Share feelings with trusted friends or family. Connection nourishes resilience and reminds us we are not alone. Find meaning in your actions. Anchor yourself through work, relationships, or hobbies. Purpose provides stability amid turbulence. Emotional filtering is not a quick fix, but a lifelong practice. It challenges us to live actively, not reactively, to choose feelings and thoughts, not be overwhelmed. Over time, these small shifts cultivate a resilient mind capable of navigating life's storms with grace. Imagine waking each morning aware of your thoughts, ready to challenge distortions, open to gratitude, firmly rooted in what you can change, and peacefully accepting what you cannot. This mindset transforms obstacles into opportunities, hardship into growth. Resilience is not about avoiding pain, but becoming flexible, strong, and purposeful despite it. Deepening insights on emotional filtering and resilience to truly grasp how emotional filtering and resilience operate. It helps to look inside the brain's intricate architecture. The prefrontal cortex, often called the brain's executive center, oversees functions like planning, decision-making, and self-control. It acts as a gatekeeper, regulating emotional reactions sparked by the amygdala, our brain's alarm system for threats and intense feelings. When we practice cognitive reframing, we actively engage this regulatory network, boosting our brain's capacity to temper emotional intensity and respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Cutting-edge neuroscience reveals that regular mindfulness and reframing to just change our thoughts. They physically reshape brain structures. These practices enhance neural connectivity and emotional regulation. Proving resilience is not a fixed trait, but a skill we can build and strengthen through consistent effort. Yet, resilience isn't about suppressing negative feelings or forcing optimism. Instead, it strikes a delicate balance, fully acknowledging pain and difficulty without letting these experiences define or immobilize us. This approach blends acceptance with purposeful action, allowing us to move forward even in the face of hardship. Philosophically, emotional filtering reflects ancient wisdom found in Stoicism and Buddhism. Both traditions teach non-attachment, not by numbing or denying emotions, but by observing them with openness, neither clinging nor pushing them away. This cultivated stance lets us witness emotional waves rise and fall without being swept away. Gratitude practice complements this by activating what positive psychology calls the broaden build effect. Positive emotions widen our perspective, opening us up to new possibilities and strengthening durable personal resources, including resilience itself. Together, these insights reveal emotional filtering and resilience as a dynamic dance between mind, brain, and spirit. Social connectedness emerges as a pillar of resilience in both research and lived experience. Humans are deeply social beings. Sharing vulnerability fosters intimacy and support, providing emotional resources beyond the individual. Meaning-making, as Viktor Frankl emphasized, is central to resilience. Finding or creating meaning provides a narrative that can integrate suffering, emerging as growth or transcendence rather than despair. Practical exercises to enhance emotional filtering and resilience. Thought diary. Develop a habit of noting negative thoughts and practicing reframing daily. Over weeks, observe changing patterns. Gratitude letter. Write and send a letter expressing gratitude to someone who positively influenced you. Notice the emotional uplift. Mental contrasting. Visualize a goal and the obstacles that might arise. Balancing optimism with realistic planning. Emotional check-ins. Pause during the day to name current emotions and rate their intensity without judgment. Support network mapping. Identify your circle of support and plan regular check-ins or shared activities. Meaning anchoring. Reflect weekly on actions or relationships that provided meaning. Consider ways to deepen that connection. To truly master emotional filtering and resilience requires ongoing commitment, the journey of gentle self-awareness and purposeful practice. Over time, the mental lenses you wear will clarify, revealing a world rich with possibility, where challenges become catalysts for growth. If you want, I can help you design guided meditations, journaling prompts, or workshops based on these insights to support deepening resilience in everyday life. Remember, resilience isn't about avoiding pain. It's about becoming flexible, strong, and full of purpose despite it. Case studies. Imagine philosophy not as dusty theories confined to textbooks, but as a vibrant, living wisdom that shapes the lives of today's most influential leaders and visionaries. These modern icons don't just influence culture, technology, or society, they embody core philosophical principles in how they confront challenges. define their purpose, and choose to live authentically. Their journeys offer us a rare glimpse into philosophy in action, revealing how resilience, authenticity, ethical responsibility, and the search for meaning play out in the real world. Take Elon Musk, the pioneering mind behind Tesla, SpaceX, and Neuralink. He exemplifies a philosophy of bold innovation fused with profound ethical reflection on humanity's future. Musk pushes us to reconsider our cosmic place by breaking new ground in space exploration, sustainable energy, and cutting-edge technology. His conviction that humanity as survival hinges on becoming a multiplanetary species taps into deep existential concerns about our fragility, our progress, and the hope we cling to. Musk's relentless drive personifies the Existentialist vision: radical freedom, meaning-making, and the courage to author our own destiny. Instead of accepting a scripted future, he actively forges new values amidst uncertainty, embodying the existential call to create meaning in a world without guarantees. Michelle Obama, former First Lady and author of Becoming, embodies leadership rooted in authenticity, resilience, and gratitude. Rising from humble beginnings to global influence, she consciously aligns her values with actions. Michelle openly shares her struggles with self-doubt, perseverance, and belonging, demonstrating the power of vulnerability, not as weakness, but as strength. Her journey shows how living philosophically means practicing empathy, grounding oneself amidst public scrutiny, and leading with heart. She is a vivid example of emotional filtering and resilience, illustrating cognitive reframing and gratitude as tools to overcome internal conflict and external pressures, cultivating grace under fire. Billie Eilish, the young music sensation, stands as a compelling model of authenticity and emotional honesty in a culture often obsessed with perfection and image. Through her raw music and candid conversations about mental health, Billie challenges societal norms and invites listeners to embrace complexity and vulnerability. Her refusal to conform exemplifies existential authenticity, the courageous act of being oneself fully, flaws and all. Her narrative resonates with the Existentialist framework, emphasizing freedom and self-created meaning through genuine self-expression amid external expectations. Oprah Winfrey's life story is a transformative testament to resilience, self-awareness, and the power of storytelling. Rising from adversity, she cultivated intentional living, choosing daily to practice gratitude, forgiveness, and purpose. Oprah's work bridges personal healing with collective awakening, demonstrating that authenticity and nurturing others are powerful forms of wisdom. She embodies emotional filtering and resilience, modeling how gratitude and mindful acceptance can transform hardship into profound influence and connection. LeBron James occupies a unique space where athletic excellence meets social responsibility and leadership. Beyond his dominance on the basketball court, LeBron leverages his platform to advocate for educational access, racial justice, and youth empowerment. His conscious decision to speak out against inequality and invest in marginalized communities reflects a philosophy rooted in justice and collective progress. His story is a living example of the authenticity engine, showing how freedom and purpose can extend beyond personal success to meaningful social impact. Taylor Swift's artistic evolution mirrors a deep philosophical journey of self-discovery, resilience, and empowerment. Across albums and public life, she has navigated themes of identity, heartbreak, and growth with remarkable openness. Taylor's deliberate control over her narrative reclaiming ownership of her music, engaging authentically with fans, and speaking candidly on social issues reflects existential themes of agency and authenticity. Through storytelling, she encourages others to explore their emotional landscapes and embrace self-creation. Her experience powerfully embodies Existentialism's core values. Jeff Bezos, founder of Amazon and Blue Origin, exemplifies relentless innovation fueled by long-term vision. His career raises provocative questions about the ethical responsibilities inherent in massive influence and capitalism as future shape. Bezos' obsession with customer experience and his investments in space reflect a drive to pioneer new frontiers, a modern existentialist venture into freedom and meaning-making. His story invites critical reflection on how entrepreneurship can balance ambition with responsibility, mirroring Existentialism's themes. Serena Williams, one of the greatest athletes in history, exemplifies mental fortitude, perseverance, and advocacy. Throughout her career, Serena has confronted challenges related to race, gender, and health with unwavering determination. Her willingness to speak openly about mental health and motherly struggles broadens societal conversations on vulnerability and strength. Serena embodies emotional filtering and resilience, demonstrating embodied mental strength through mindful acceptance, cognitive reframing, and gratitude as sources of empowerment. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's journey from football athlete to global entertainment icon illustrates a philosophy centered on hard work, authenticity, and positivity. Known for his motivational outlook, Johnson emphasizes resilience in the face of adversity and staying true to oneself. He openly shares personal struggles alongside triumphs, blending vulnerability with confidence to motivate millions. Johnson's experience serves as a practical example of emotional filtering and resilience. Using cognitive reframing and emotional regulation to inspire and overcome challenges. Ariana Grande's life and career reflect modern themes of healing, empowerment, and emotional resilience. After enduring personal tragedies and significant public scrutiny, Ariana has become a vocal advocate for mental health awareness and self-care. Her music explores vulnerability, growth, and strength, offering a candid look into human complexity. Ariana's openness connects deeply with emotional filtering and resilience principles, demonstrating mindful acceptance and gratitude as transformative practices. Mark Zuckerberg's pivotal role in shaping global digital communication through Facebook raises profound questions about privacy, truth, and community in the digital era. His investments in virtual and augmented reality technologies provoke ongoing debates about the future of human experience. Zuckerberg's journey highlights the critical importance of minimalism and attention. Conservation, managing digital distractions, and safeguarding attention amid overwhelming online inputs. His story challenges us to weigh innovation against ethical stewardship in a hyper-connected world. Lady Gaga, renowned for her artistry and activism, blends creativity with fierce advocacy for mental health, inclusivity, and radical self-expression. Pushing boundaries and embracing difference, she embodies existential courage. Gaga's public engagement challenges stigma and inspires empowerment, making her a living example of Existi's philosophy, freedom, authenticity, and courage as acts of personal and social transformation. Tim Cook, Apple's CEO, stands as a model of leadership steeped in ethics, innovation, and social responsibility. Taking the helm from Steve Jobs, Cook has emphasized corporate transparency, sustainability, and human rights advocacy. His public leadership reflects philosophy as a mental OS update, demonstrating how business decisions can embody practical wisdom and ethical programming. Cook's journey invites reflection on how modern leaders integrate values and innovation to shape a more responsible future. Beyond the individual stories, what unites these figures is a living philosophy woven from ancient wisdom and modern insights. Their lives serve as case studies illustrating philosophical principles in action, whether through the existential courage of self-creation, the resilience forged in adversity, the mindful conservation of attention, or the ethical responsibility imbued in innovation and leadership. They remind us that philosophy is not static or abstract, but an evolving practice that equips us to engage meaningfully with an ever-complex world. Their stories inspire us to reflect on our own values, responses, and purposes, and to embody wisdom through intentional action. As you consider these examples, observe how the philosophies from previous sections, Stoicism's inner control, Taoism's flow and acceptance, Existentialism's authenticity and freedom, Minimalism's focus and simplicity, and positive psychology's emotional filtering interlace seamlessly in real life. Each figure weaves these threads uniquely, crafting lives that illuminate philosophy not as lived experience. May their journeys encourage you to embrace philosophy not just as knowledge, but as a catalyst for growth and transformation in your own unfolding story. Practical exercises and techniques. Imagine your mind as a garden, where the philosophical seeds we've planted throughout this journey await gentle nurturing. Growing a flourishing garden requires more than occasional watering. Thrives through consistent, mindful tending. The practices shared here offer simple, accessible ways to cultivate awareness, resilience, authenticity, and clarity by weaving small but meaningful habits into the rhythm of your days, weeks, and months. Each morning, before the day's demands sweep you away, take a moment to pause. Close your eyes or soften your gaze. Breathe deeply and quietly ask yourself, how do I wish to move through today? What mindset will guide me? Perhaps it's focusing on what you can control, echoing the Stoic dichotomy of control, or extending kindness to yourself and others, reflecting the Taoist harmony of compassion and flow. Visualize yourself embodying this intention, feeling grounded and purposeful as the day unfolds. This simple morning pause is more than a ritual. It sets a conscious tone for your mental operating system to function optimally. Psychology tells us that intentions shape outcomes by focusing attention and activating neural pathways aligned with desired behaviors. Philosophically, this aligns with the existential call to authenticity and deliberate choice, inviting you to own each moment as an act of self-creation. When the noise of daily life grows loud and stress encroaches, there is a simple doorway back to calm. Tune into your senses, a skill as ancient as awareness itself. Look around and name 3 things you see in detail. Then listen to 2 sounds near or far. And finally, notice 1 physical sensation, like your feet touching the ground or the rise and fall of your breath. These vivid anchors pull you into the present, clearing mental clutter and restoring your focus. This practice connects deeply with mindfulness traditions rooted in Buddhism and Taoism, which emphasize present moment awareness and non-attachment to mental chatter. Neuroscience shows that sensory grounding activates brain regions responsible for attention and emotion regulation, helping break cycles of rumination and anxiety. Regularly returning to such sensory anchors strengthens your mental oasis capacity for concentrated presence. Before sleep, or whenever you find a quiet moment, reflect on 3 things you appreciate, whether the warmth of sunlight filtering through a window, a kind word from a friend, or the steady rhythm of your breath. Let gratitude gently shift your emotional lens from scarcity to abundance, quieting the mind's chatter and fostering peace. This evening gratitude practice connects with positive psychology's robust findings. Gratitude improves mood, sleep quality, and social connection, rewiring brain circuits toward positivity. It complements Stoic philosophy's emphasis on appreciating what is within one's grasp, and Taoism's natural acceptance of life's natural gifts. Sometimes like storms. Rather than pushing feelings away or getting swept up in them, try simply observing. Notice what you feel right now, perhaps anxiety, joy, or tiredness. Name it silently and observe where it lives in your body. Breathe softly into that space, allowing the sensation to ebb and flow. This form of mindful emotional awareness builds resilience, helping you meet life with openness instead of resistance. This exercise is rooted in both contemporary mindfulness-based stress reduction and Stoic emotional regulation. By detaching from immediate identification with emotions, you cultivate equanimity, reducing impulsive reactions and enhancing adaptive responses. Throughout your day, sprinkle in moments of mindful breathing. Close your eyes briefly and take a few deep, slow breaths, feeling the inhale as a calming wave and the exhale as a gentle release. These mini breaks refresh your mental energy and bring clarity amidst busy schedules. Physiologically, mindful breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system, lowering heart rate and cortisol levels, promoting calm. Such breath awareness also embodies Taoist Wu, effortless action, bringing harmony to body and mind. As days turn to weeks, it's helpful to pause and step back for a broader perspective. Consider the concerns pressing on your mind. Take a piece of paper or journal and list them. Then ask yourself for each: is this within my control or beyond it? For those outside your influence, practice gently releasing your grip. Acknowledge what you cannot change and affirm your acceptance. For those within, identify one actionable step, even small, to move forward. This reflective exercise is deeply Stoic, harnessing the dichotomy of control to reduce anxiety and focus effort effectively. It strengthens your mental OS by conserving computational resources, promoting clarity and efficiency. Once a week, create space to check your alignment with what matters most to you. What values guide your choices? Honesty, kindness, growth. Look back on recent moments and ask, which actions honored these values? Which drifted from them? What external pressures or fears nudged you away? Use this insight to craft one intentional step for living more authentically in the coming days. This ongoing internal dialogue is the heart of existential authenticity, continuously crafting your identity through conscious values and actions. Such reflective practice grounds freedom in purpose, ensuring the mental OS evolves toward coherent selfhood. Technology and digital distractions can scatter attention and pull you from presence. Challenge yourself to create boundaries that nourish focus. Perhaps designate parts of your day or certain activities free from screens. Or limit social media to brief, conscious intervals. Replace scrolling with reading, walking, or creative hobbies that deepen fulfillment. Observe how these choices sharpen your clarity and calm your mind, anchoring you in what truly adds value. This practice embodies principles from minimalism and attention conservation. The intentional curation of inputs reduces cognitive overload and dopamine-driven distraction, improving sustained attention and well-being. Physical space often mirrors mental space. Choose a corner, drawer, or shelf and gently clear away what no longer serves you. Notice how organizing your environment ripples into mental clarity, easing overwhelm and creating room for creativity and calm. This physical minimalism supports a broader attention conservation, giving your mental operating system fresh bandwidth. This aligns with both ancient wisdom from Diogenes to Thoreau, modern environmental psychology, which shows orderly environments reduce stress and enhance cognitive performance. Periodically, invite yourself to imagine life's uncertainties, not to foster fear, but to build preparedness and appreciation. Consider the loss of a comfort, a relationship, or an achievement, and sense your emotional response. Then, reflect on what endures your choices, your values, your inner strength. This practice softens anxiety about the unknown and hones your capacity to accept life as it is, a core tenet of Stoicism. Negative visualization is often misunderstood as pessimistic, but it is a powerful resilience builder, creating psychological immunization against loss and disappointment. When negative self-talk or distressing thoughts arise, pause and write them down. Examine their truth is, their evidence supporting this thought. What alternative perspectives exist? Rewrite a balanced, realistic thought to replace distortion. For example, I failed today can shift to I faced a setback, but learned something valuable. This cognitive reframing rewires your emotional filter to foster resilience and optimism. This exercise draws on CBT principles and Stoic wisdom. It strengthens mental flexibility, reducing the grip of unhelpful narratives. Every so often, revisit the values and principles that light your way. When decisions loom large, ask yourself, which choice reflects my deepest commitments? Afterward, reflect on your decisions, alignment with your values, and what you learned about yourself. These moments reinforce freedom through conscious self-creation. This integrative reflection sustains existential authenticity and nurtures growth-oriented identity. To deepen emotional resilience, set aside time to cultivate compassion. Close your eyes and silently repeat wishes of well-being to yourself. May I be happy. May I be peaceful. May I be free from suffering. Extend these wishes outward to loved ones and even those with whom you struggle. Feeling love and kindness grow within, softens harshness in your inner dialogue and strengthens empathy for others. This loving kindness meditation is drawn from Buddhist traditions, fostering emotional balance, reducing hostility, and enhancing social connection. These exercises are not rules, but invitations, gentle scaffolding to support your unfolding journey. You might discover some practices resonate more than others, and that's natural. The key lies in repetition, patience, and gentle kindness toward yourself. Over time, these small actions weave together to create a mental operating system that enhances your capacity to navigate life complexities with grace, purpose, and stability. Through this rhythm of daily mindfulness, weekly reflection, and monthly renewal, you cultivate a mind both grounded and expansive, responsive, yet grounded, free, yet purposeful. The wisdom of ancient philosophy meets modern psychology here, offering a deeply practical pathway to thrive. Before we conclude this session, imagine standing at the edge of a vast forest-stage tree representing an idea, practice, or insight you've gathered on this journey through philosophy as a mental operating system. To walk confidently through this landscape, it helps to pause, look back, and see not just the individual trees, but how they form a living, interconnected ecosystem. This section invites you to do exactly that. To revisit the core ideas, tie them together, and strengthen the mental pathways that support clarity, resilience, and authenticity. At the heart of this forest is a profound recognition. Modern life often bombards us with noise, distraction, and overwhelm we called a system crash. In response, reactive patterns arise, stress, burnout, anxieties, signals that our internal software needs updating. Philosophy, in this light, is not a lofty academic puzzle, but a practical toolkit to debug and optimize our mental operating system. One foundational route in this system is the dichotomy of control, famously emphasized by the Stoics. Life presents many challenges, but the mind gains freedom by focusing energy on what it can influence, its own judgments, choices, and responses, while accepting what lies beyond its reach. This simple but powerful idea reframes frustration and worry, transforming them into opportunities to exercise inner control and emotional regulation. It asks the difference between being buffeted by waves and learning to steer a steady ship amid storms. This teaching, when practiced consistently, rewires the brain's cognitive control systems, enhancing resilience. It invites a shift from victimhood to agency, reinforcing that freedom is cultivated within even when external conditions are unstable. Flowing alongside, this is the Taoist insight of letting go and embracing non-resistance. Life isn't a rigid structure to be forced, but a river to be navigated with wisdom. Resisting life's currents causes distress, while yielding to its movement fosters harmony. This philosophy encourages acceptance, not passive resignation, but a dynamic, mindful engagement with reality as it unfolds. The Taoist principle of flow invites us to merge with life's rhythms, filtering emotions with openness rather than judgment. This approach nurtures psychological flexibility, a key factor in well-being, helping us to respond adaptively to change. Practically, it reduces suffering caused by futile struggles and invites effortless effectiveness. Much like a masterful dancer attuned to music's subtle shifts. Intertwined with control and flow is the existentialist call to authenticity and self-creation. Modern existence brims with choices, freedoms, and uncertainties. The existentialist reminds us we are the authors of our lives, crafting meaning where none is inherent. This freedom can feel daunting, but is deeply empowering. The invitation to live courageously, embrace vulnerability, and claim responsibility for the values that shape us. This ongoing process of self-creation demands reflection and commitment. It involves continually revisiting our values, confronting fears, and choosing paths aligned with our true selves, rather than conforming to external expectations or defaults. These three philosophical apps, Stoicos, Taoism, and Exist, are magnified and supported by complementary practices of minimalism and attention conservation. In today's world, flooded with digital distractions and dopamine triggers, paring down external noise preserves our precious, focused attention. By choosing carefully what to consume and how, we reclaim mental bandwidth that fuels intentional thought and emotional balance. This deliberate curation of inputs protects cognitive resources, enhancing creativity and presence. Minimalism is not deprivation, but optimization, removing non-essential mental clutter to amplify what truly matters. Layered throughout all is the critical application of emotional filtering and resilience, the ability emotions and regulate emotions in ways that foster mental health. Cognitive behavioral therapy and positive psychology converge here with ancient Stoic exercises, offering techniques like gratitude, negative visualization, and cognitive reframing. These methods transform suffering into growth and cultivate gratitude even amid hardship. By consistently applying these emotional tools, we strengthen neural circuits associated with positive affect and stress regulation, increasing our capacity to navigate adversity gracefully. Together, these philosophies and practices form a vibrant ecosystem, each nourishing the others, each essential. Inner control steadies the mind. Letting go softens resistance. Authenticity fuels purpose. Minimalism clears clutter, and emotional filtering builds strength. They harmonize into a balanced mental O, equipped to meet the complexity of modern life. But integration is not a one-time event. It unfolds through repetition and reflection. Much like a forest, deepens and matures over seasons. Revisiting ideas and practices refreshes understanding and makes insights stick. Each return reveals new layers. What once felt abstract becomes lived wisdom embedded in how you think, feel, and act. Psychologically, repetition consolidates new neural pathways. Habit formation literally rewires the brain. Philosophically, repeated contemplation deepens our grasp and subtlety of insight, integrating head and heart. To support this integration, the exercises offered, from morning pause and grounding techniques to values, check-ins, and mindful breathing, serve as daily, weekly, and monthly rituals. They are the gardener's tools, pruning, cultivating, and nurturing your mental landscape. Some days, you may return to grounding in presence. Other weeks, reflect on your values' alignment. In quieter months, engage in deeper contemplations like negative visualization or digital minimalism. The key is gentle persistence, not perfection. Philosophy, as mental software updates, is not about erasing flaws or eliminating difficulty, but developing greater awareness and choice in how we respond. Each practice, each mindful moment rewires pathways to greater freedom and resilience. This journey is deeply personal, yet universal. The themes you've encountered echo in stories of modern figures, from activists living authenticity against odds, to leaders balancing innovation with ethics, to artists channeling vulnerability into creativity. They remind us that philosophy is alive, a vibrant tradition passed through the ages, constantly renewed in each life. As you move forward, envision your growing forest of ideas, not as a rigid checklist, but as a living map, sometimes returning to stoic calm, other times drifting with Taoist ease, and often rising fully in existential responsibility. Each approach offers tools. Together, they form a versatile mental OS that adapts, learns, and thrives. Remember, integration deepens when reflection meets action. Journaling, meditation, conscious pauses, and deliberate choices are not separate from philosophy, but its very fabric. Embedding reflection in daily rhythms nurtures awareness, making the mind agile, the heart resilient, and the spirit free. In this way, philosophy becomes more than knowledge. It transforms into wisdom, a living companion that walks with you, helping navigate uncertainty with clarity and poise, with intention, patience, and openness. Your mental operating system updates continuously, empowering you to meet whatever life brings. May this journey inspire you to return often to these ideas, practicing lightly but steadily, deepening your own forest of insight and strength. As our journey through philosophy as a practical mental operating system comes to a close, it's worth taking a moment to pause and appreciate the powerful toolkit you now hold. Rooted in the timeless wisdom of Stoicism, Taoism, Existentialism, and enriched by modern psychology. This collection of insights and exercises is crafted not just to inform your mind, but to transform your experience of life itself. You are no longer merely a passenger buffeted by the storms of modern distraction, stress, or emotional overload. Instead, you have begun cultivating inner control and acceptance, embracing your freedom to craft meaning authentically, conserve your precious attention, and filter your emotions constructively. These skills are a life practiced moment to moment, day by day, writing the operating system of your mind to support peace and resilience. In the words of Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor who faced chaos with calm, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This notion sits at the core of empowerment, the profound recognition that while you cannot command every circumstance, you can always choose your response. Such control is not constraining, but liberating. It puts the reins of your experience subtly but firmly in your hands. Yet liberation also requires flow and acceptance, as Laozi, the Taoist sage, reminds us. A good traveler has no fixed plans and is not intent on arriving. This teaches the art of moving gracefully with life's currents, not resisting, but adapting. When you let go of rigid expectations, mental clarity expands and emotional tension eases. In tandem stands the existentialist call to authenticity and self-creation, eloquently expressed by Jean-Paul Sartre. Man is condemned to be free, because once thrown into the world, he is responsible for everything he does. This can feel daunting, but it is also a profound invitation to live courageously, to embrace vulnerability, and to shape your life as an ongoing creative act. Your freedom is the soil for meaning. These philosophize inner control, flow. In a hyper-connected world, minimalism and mindful filtering become acts of preservation and empowerment. Consider the words of modern thinker Brown. Vulnerability is the birthplace of innovation, creativity, and change. Allowing yourself to be vulnerable, acknowledging emotions without shame, and embracing imperfection become powerful engines for growth and connection. Together, these ideas create an ecosystem of mental tools, each nourishing the other. Inner control steadies your mind. Non-resistance opens you to life's rhythms. Authenticity calls you to own your journey. Minimalism clears distraction, and emotional filtering strengthens resilience. When woven into daily living, they transform the chaos of modern life into a fertile ground for wisdom and peace. But transformation is a process, not an event. As the philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche said, one must still have chaos in oneself to be able to give birth to a dancing star. The mental operating system you are cultivating requires continual updates and gentle repetition. Each time you return to grounding practices, reflect on values, or mindfully breathe, you deepen your capacity to respond with clarity rather than react out of habit. Do not be disheartened by setbacks or moments when distraction or emotional overwhelm return. These are natural parts of growth. As the great American psychologist William James observed, "The greatest discovery of my generation is that a human being can alter his life by altering his attitudes. Each practice you engage in rewires your mental landscape, incrementally increasing your freedom and resilience. Your journey is uniquely yours, but also part of a shared human endeavor across time and culture." Philosophy has been a living tradition renewed in each person who chooses to reflect, act with awareness, and nurture inner peace. As you move forward, anchor yourself in your deepest values and purpose. Let those guide your daily efforts. The small practices setting intentions, gratitude, cognitive reframing may seem humble, but their ripple effect is profound. Through them, you shape not just your experience, but your very self. Remember the words of Rumi: "The wound is the place where the light enters you." Challenges and suffering are not merely obstacles, but openings for insight and growth. The philosophy you've absorbed is your lantern in the dark, illuminating the path forward. Begin where you are. Select a practice that resonates, whether it's the dichotomy of control, mindful walking, or a gratitude ritual land. Commit to it. Let this be the seed from which your updated mental operating system grows. There's no rush. Integration happens through steady, compassionate repetition. Sharing your journey with others can deepen your insight and sustain motivation. Philosophy blossoms in dialogue and community. Invite reflection, exchange experiences, and support collective growth. As you close this chapter and carry these insights forward, remember that the path of philosophy is never truly finished. It is a living dialogue between you and life itself, continuous unfolding of awareness, choice, and courage. In moments of uncertainty or difficulty, return to these ideas and practices like a trusted friend, offering guidance and calm. Trust that through patient practice, your mental operating system will evolve, becoming more resilient, focused, and authentic. Each day is an invitation to begin anew, to face the world with clear eyes and a steady heart. You are empowered not because life is easy, but because you are equipped to meet it wisely. May this journey cultivate not only knowledge, but deep wisdom, wisdom rooted in daily action, compassionate self-awareness, and the freedom to create your own meaningful path.